Race, I beg you at Div2 when I put it on there.
No, everyone. I'll put it on League YouTube in a minute.
Share, copy link, copies, self-promotion. It's sad that we don't have any commentaries before. There we go.
Are you ready for serious pattern?
Sorry about that. We're live. We're in the qualifying setup now. We do have 18 minutes. Shortly. The race is beautiful sunshine of Baku. Everyone Lewis is commentating on the race as well. We've got a new intro on we've got a new intro coming soon, so definitely have the intro time one coming. I'll get that added on tomorrow. I was well, I paid for an new intro that hasn't been done. It's got a one, which is really irritating. Anyway, league racing tonight, guys. Okay, so here's of all places at Baku. Now, this is round 3, and I am yet to have a race in this league. The first race I missed because we had. The track's pretty quiet at the moment, so we can get out there, get a few laps in. We had issues with our stream simply because we thought that we added our new overlays, and because I thought, I've upgraded my graphics card, but then realised that it's the reason why the CPU is under so much pressure is because it's coming from the Elgato PS4 5 to the Elgato card to the USB, so it's putting the pressure on the USB to use CPU instead of the graphics card. So I need to upgrade my CPU. If you would like to help me along the way, !donate. We've got a target of £550 in 2 months, if you're feeling generous. But yeah, so that's why we have to get rid of them again. That's why we missed first race. Second race, obviously, I was at Silverstone. This is our first race in this league. Now, when it comes to league racing in new leagues, you know, it's always a lottery at the start. You know, so you know we're giving it a go in this league. It's not a big prestigious, massive league as you'd expect. But a lot of these guys.
So about that one, guys. But hello and welcome to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix then for Div 2. Combination of around 20 corners around the street circuit. Very marginal for error. Many rules here, many mistakes can be made. Just gonna sort out the commentary options. Of course, we've got a couple of people who didn't race last week, including streamer Patty Pat. His teammate won't be racing today though. I'm gonna go on board. I'm gonna go on board with Elliot here. I don't believe he raced last week either. You also got Forcible. You got Pole last race, but unfortunately did disconnect from the race. And Charlie had an amazing drive with a beautiful strategy. Well, they did get damaged towards the start of the Grand Prix. We're going on board then with the man who won the last Grand Prix. Stone Eyes coming into turn 1, hard braking zone. Make sure not to ride too much of that curb. It will really offset all your car. Do not ride that outside curb too much. You will go into that outside wall. Coming in turn 2. Late on the brakes there. Gets a good X out of that corner. The both for the Alfa Romeos move out the way then for the Mercedes. Coming up down to turn 3, obviously DRS open down here, max speed around 207 miles an hour. It's a hard left-hander, make sure not to hit that inside curb, does that beautifully, good exit. Again, another hard braking zone. I mean, that's really all that track is really working. The rear tyres and the traction around here is very difficult. It's pole position 1 then, 4 Stone Eyes. He's going to straight line it down to the trickiest section of the track, the castle section. Of course, the famous Charles Leclerc crash around here with the I'm So Stupid. Will Charlie do the same? No, he won't on this quali run. And right, then left, he's going to look for a good exit all the way down this main straight. Make sure not to validate on the exit of that corner. He does not, flying down into turn 15. Make sure not to ride that inside curb or you'll be back in the wall once again. Doesn't do too much, good exit out of there. Your last braking zone then here around Baku, this is where you want to really maximise your best exit you can. Don't ride that outside curb too much, probably left a little bit more of a margin than you want. Coming to the main straight, but he's going to get a good one out that corner. All the way down the back straight, or the main straight, sorry. Across the last corner of turn 20, he's going to hit the rear end open on that Mercedes, the drag reduction system. He's going to hit a top speed of around 290 miles an hour and is about 400 or 3/100ths off Hayden. This is the man I did not expect to be on provisional pole at all. Yes?
Lewis, can you change your settings? So press spectator menu and change gap to leader to change it from best lap to gap to leader.
Forcible then smashes Hayden's time by about 1/10.5. That's a good lap from the man who got pole last weekend.
Okay.
Look for Patty Pat. He's going to pull out of the pit lane for the first time. Gets out the way of the McLaren. He's going to get a nice toe then, Sid. All the way down the main straight. Gets a beautiful toe. From I think that is Zork. He's going to get a very good run down the main straight. Can he beat that provisional pole time? No, he can't. He's going to be about 4.5 tenths off his teammate in P1. Is that a yellow flag? That is a yellow flag. Is that Sam Clarkson trying to get out the way of the Alpine? He does go off the track, and I don't know if that is allowed or not in the regulations. But that is what he does. Have to mind out as well for another car behind him. Patty Pat just coming through the castle section. Do we get a lap? Martin! What a lap from the Ferrari! 5.5 tenths ahead of Forcible. That is going to be the time to beat then for this quali session. All the drivers going to be looking at that in absolute shock. See what they can do about that lap time. All these drivers are really have to step up their game. Forcible is going to come to pin in the pit lane now. Lap on a new set of tyres and see if he can beat the man on provisional pole position. He was most likely one of the favourites to win this Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Bumble Goblin, who's in Thailand at the moment, unable to race. So we see JT, only about 4 attempts off Martin, just ahead of the McLaren of Forcible. So he's just finished his lap there. He's going to come through the first corner to start his first lap of the session. Get a good run out the first corner, not too much curbs. Going to watch out for that Aston Martin though. He might get in his way. No, the Aston Martin's going to give him a beautiful toe. As Patty Pat hits the back of the Aston Martin. That Alpine has just got wing damage and he's also got a 5-place grid penalty for hitting the Aston Martin. The Alpine's going to be absolutely devastated for that one. Patty Pat, full front wing damage in a quali session, not even hitting a wall. Hit a driver, he's going to have to come to the pits to replace that front wing and go again. But he's going to be set back another 5 places for the start of the race. See your pole position, or your provisional pole position. Driver is probably going to come and pin in a bit lane now. Yes, he will. He's going to slap on a new set, see if he can beat that time. New set for himself. not much action going on then at the moment. Everyone kind of letting each other pass. All the final ones in second. This man here is not on the final lap. Thought he was for a second. The man who won the last Grand Prix on his final out. Oh, no, not his final. Actually, my mistake. Be on his second out lap of the session. Gonna try to set up that second lap, see if he can beat that provisional pole position of Martin. As AJ Gill, the Williams, we see them retires from the session in turn 1. Hatris Goated did the same thing, and we've caught that. It wasn't turn 1, but he's hit the outside wall, one of the fastest corners on the track. That is quite a big incident for the Williams. Both of the Williams out the session, and that is a disaster for the Williams team. So we see Forcible, the man who got pole position last race. He's going to start his... No, he's not actually, is he? Yeah, I believe he is starting his second flying lap of the session. Forcible, though, on his best time, he was actually on 3-lap old tyres. So, by that alone, he's probably got a bit of time to improve coming into turn 3. Did that nicely, just clipped the apex. Oh, I spoke too soon. Commentator curse as Forcible slides almost into the wall there. He's going to look to recharge his battery and set another lap. As we see a yellow flag in sector 3. Sam Clark's, I think that's just him setting up his flying lap. Him doesn't do what the Williams did and hit that outside wall. He does not. Vincent, for some reason, did his first lap on Inters. I do believe this man is also on the flying lap. We're on board with Forcible coming into the castle section. Make sure we don't do charge play. He didn't clip that first apex quite nicely, but remember, he did have that slide, so that's not even going to be a lap for him. I believe this man here, is he on a lap? Might be. He is pushing, I think he is. That was nicely clipped there from Charlie on the apex. Not too much scud that would offset you into the runoff. Can use all of that battery down the main straight. He's got to be on a lap here. I wasn't too sure of it, but I definitely am now. He's going to get the rear wing open on that Mercedes. Look how fast that car is in a straight line. 219, 80 miles an hour for him. Still only a tenth and a half of Martin. Martin then, that lap must have been absolutely mega. He's going to be setting up his lap for his... Will it be the final run of the session? It might be. I don't think it will. He's going to go for that. Forcible sets another lap then. He had that little spin earlier. But I believe he is on the same time. He was when he set his final lap before. She's that Pat, the man with the 5 place grid penalty. He's going to be on his out lap. Starting his final one of the session. Sam Clark's absolutely destroys Martin's time by about 4.5 tenths. Did not expect that from the Mercedes. As the Mercedes 1-3 then, absolutely surrounding that Ferrari. It is a Mercedes sandwich for Martin. As he is also on a lap. Clips that apex quite nicely. Coming into turn 4, make sure not to take too much curb, which will be off in the wall. Definitely still was a bit of a margin there to improve. Hugs that inside wall, switches it back out to the right hander. Gonna get a good run down the straight. Come into one of the trickiest corners on the track. Make sure not to understeer into the outside wall. Still a little bit slidey on that Ferrari. Didn't do what he would do in real life as a Leclerc. Running that number 7 there always reminds me of the Iceman Kimi Räikkönen. Gonna come into turn 15 then. Down 4th gear, good exit out of there for the Ferrari. So yellow flag on Alpine. Now, that's Pat again. I believe he must have aborted that lap then. He's still yet to set a time on the board. or the only Alpine car of this weekend. We see Martin coming down the final straight. Improves by about 3 tenths, not enough though to beat Sam Clark's. Zorc finishing his fine up then, coming down the main straight, got the rear wing open on that Aston Martin. That speed of 218 miles an hour then. I don't think he was finishing that. That is my mistake. I think he was starting a lap. Yeah, he was. So what else is happening here then? Vincenzo finishes his lap. 1.4 seconds off provisional pole. He almost hits the wall there. It's a bit of a slide there for the Ferrari. It's Patty Pat. He's going to start his final lap on some fresh new softs. Dropping it down into third gear. It's obviously fixed his sticky pedals, or no, sorry, it wasn't sticky pedals. The pedals weren't actually giving him full power down the straight. Let's see what Patty can do then with new, well, not new pedals, but clean pedals. Doesn't have any excuses now then, coming into turn 4. Turn 3, sorry. As these two cars ahead of him, Mike's getting his way. That Haas was not in a good position for Patty Pat, and I believe that might have counted as an impede because he did have to go off the normal racing line. That was Vincent there then that impeded Patty Pat. He might be getting a penalty at the end of this Grand Prix. He's battling with one of the Alfa Romeos of... Or Alpha Tauri, sorry, of Stormy. As Zorc put his Aston Martin P3 then, that's a good lap from the Aston Martin, big improvement from him. As we see your provisional pole driver on his out lap, same with the other Mercedes, his teammate down in P4. And everyone's starting their final runs or on their out lap. Vincent. And a bit of a slide out that final corner. It's not really what you want to set up your final lap of the session. But he's going to come across the fastest corners on the track. Going to get ERS deployed on that Haas. As we see one of the Red Bulls retire from the session. Now, I think he's done that on track. And I don't know if that's legal or not. Patty Pat puts his Alpine in P11. Still a bit of a slide then coming out the first corner. Other Red Bull. That's not a Red Bull, that's Martin out of the session. The Ferrari out of the session. The Red Bull got damage on his car, so he decided to retire the car because he could not set along the lap. The man on provisional pole then. Gonna come and start his final lap of the session. Got the rear wing open on the Mercedes. Gonna aim to nail 20 corners around the streets of Baku, dropping it down into 4th gear. A little bit slidey on the rear then, coming into from the Mercedes coming into turn 1. A good line though, as wide as possible. Bringing it to the left. Robbing the outside wall. Getting the rear wing open. Teammate on the lap as well. It's Eddie Black. Also retired from the session. That is 6 drivers already retired from the session. Sam Clark's 3 attempts up then on his provisional pole lap. If he keeps it nice and tidy, it could be pole position for the Mercedes. So what the other Mercedes can do. Only 5/100 on his lap time. Can he beat the Aston Martin ahead of him? He's P8. Sam Clark's then coming into turn 15, one of the trickiest corners on the track. Make sure not to mess up your lap here, as he does. He went too deep coming into that fight, into turn 15, and that's damage on the Mercedes. Lost the front right end plate, and he's going to hit the wall that is it then for the Mercedes. He had a puncture on his front right tyre. Must have been from hitting that wall of turn 15 too hard. That would have secured him provisional pole. That would have secured him pole, I think. Yeah, that would have been pole. He doesn't even need to set the lap though.
That time he set before.
So that is pole position for Sam Clark
Tell him to clip the pole lap.
at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. That is very unfortunate for the other drivers then. Sam Clark's got pole position, even hitting the wall on his final run when he was about 3/10 up. So Ferrari messed up his lap as well. Quite a few DNFs that session. Pat down in P12 with an additional 5 place grid penalty for the LPT. He's going to be starting in P17 for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. That is really quite hard to get back around this circuit. Big DRS trains around here. It's going to be the Mercedes of Sam Clark's in P1, Ferrari P2, Forcible P3, the man who had pole position last out. So P4, Stone Eyes P5, JT P6, Vincent P7, Nando Norris P8. Oh, okay, and it disappeared. Lovely. People were already up too quickly. That's quite an exciting qualifying session then. Gonna wait for all the drivers to load into the session then. Of course, I will be also streaming the race tomorrow for myself and Div1 if you want to check that out. Same time this race started. I'm actually leading the championship, looking to extend my lead, but I do have 2 drivers who are statistically faster than me. So it will be quite challenging. Especially around the streets of Baku. Oh, my voice. Right, I'm going to get all the tyre details up for you. All 17 drivers are starting on the medium compound tyre. No one opted for a different strategy then. So everyone is going to be on the same compound tyre. It's going to be all equal. 17 drivers. Pat in P17. Not a good quality session from him. Probably quite disappointed with that one. But as we do know, Pat is a bit of a race merchant. So I'm hoping to see some moves from him in this Grand Prix today. Sam Clark's the man who got pole position. He's going to be looking to get a good start and extend his lead out in front. He's got the rapid Ferrari behind him, see what he can do about it, and same with the McLaren behind the Ferrari. Stone Eyes gets disqualified from the formation lap. That's mean he's going to have freezing cold tyres coming into turn 1. That is not ideal for the Mercedes, as he's got one of his main rivals in P6 just behind him. The 2 Hasses right next to each other as one of them hits the wall on the formation lap. Hope he doesn't do that in the actual race. Both AlphaTauris in P11 and 12. And both of the Williams who DNF'd in the qualifying session down in P14 and 15. I think my prediction for this race would be Martin win, Sam Clark second, and if Forcible don't disconnect, I think he'd stay in P3. I say that, but they have just hit each other, and they've disqualified each other from the formation lap. Might be a bit of beef there then. I think Forcible, I said I didn't want him to disconnect, but Forcible has disconnected from the session again, 2 weeks in a row. Wait, man's playing on McDonald's internet. Forcible, how's your McDonald's Wi-Fi? Oh dear. Here we go then for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. All the drivers are going to line up on their grid. The last man to line up on the grid will be Patty Pat, starting in his position. Trying to warm up them tyres as much as possible. That's a good lineup from him. Ever so close to exceeding that line. AJ Gill was disqualified. Didn't park up in his spot properly. Probably gets a little bit glitchy. Sorts out all the drivers. Everyone's going to ready up 4-5 red lights then for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go. It's a good start for Martin, but a better start for Sam Clark, who's going to lead the way of the Grand Prix. As Martin kind of sends it up the inside. That's a bit stupider from the Ferrari, who makes contact with the inside wall, and he's going to be down in P16. AJ Gill already out in the session. As we see, Stone Eyes kept his position off the start. Sam Clarks is going to be leading the way of this Grand Prix, and I don't think Sam Clarks will get a penalty for that incident in turn 1. It didn't really look like Martin needed to send it there. It was very, I would say very stupid from the Ferrari. As we see these two battling it out. Hayden has made it up into P3 then for the Haas. Good from him. He's almost all over the back really of that Aston Martin in front of him. As I told you, Patty Pat would make up some moves. Patty Pat already up into P14 of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Got the Williams ahead of him, and it's absolute carnage, as he would say. Going into these corners, debris all over the track. I'm going to get a VSC then for the session. That is JT, who is out of the session. Now that is definitely what I would not expect for the Grand Prix. That's going to be good news for Stone Eyes, Martin, and even Bumble Goblin, who doesn't participate in the Grand Prix, the main rivals. So both Hasses then could use a little bit of teamwork here. AJ Gill loses the session. He got disqualified early on. Don't know how that's happened, but he does. As the VSC ends here then, everyone's going to start getting going. Sam Clark's got a really good jump on the Aston Martin. I mean, look at that gap he's already got on him. For some reason it won't actually tell me. Game's a little bit glitched. Okay, what the hell? It says Sam Clark is leading. Right, listen to this. What the fuck? Yeah, nice one, F1. Nice. Right, well, I don't know what's going on there. Got no clue, mate. Well, I don't know if that's just my game's glitched out then or what. Because if not, that is quite a big problem. Patty Pat's made his way up to P11 then. That's the Williams kind of leading a train here. So all the drivers ahead of him are going to start getting away. F1 Venancio. 3.3 second gap as Charlie has retired from the session. That is the Mercedes out. And I don't know how. Okay. So it's going to look like... Okay, I think we might get a lobby restart here then. Because... Yep, that's lobby restart. Sam Clark is leading this. That does not happen very often. Yeah,
Why?
I've seen. Alright, so lobby's been restarted. So we've had many drivers retire at the start of the session.
Yeah.
Red flag then in the Baku Grand Prix,
yeah,
much
I
expected.
don't know what I was thinking with Sam. But
Yeah,
I
well, you
think
think the race
Yeah,
is
Martin,
on
mate,
first
you're a bit
lap.
of a spasm.
So get your head in the game, please, because I don't appreciate it.
Oh, I
Red
think
flag
he
then.
needs to do that.
Red flag. you know what that means? Wait.
Well, I'm sorry about that. There was a lot of like... Mate, I just saw a car ramp another car. I think that's like...
Yes.
Yeah, Lewis host it and then just invent time.
You mean to host the session? Well, the problem is, I'm gonna... Martin, I don't know what you were thinking on that restart, to be honest.
I'm just a retard.
Sam Clark had a nice lead, and you just decided to send it down the inside.
Martin,
I
you
just
did
don't know what I'm
absolute
doing.
carnage.
It's absolute carnage.
And the Williams had a great start. We
Well,
did have a good start.
I won't do that again, I'm sorry.
The pit stop challenge was to 5-1, and you lost it. Come on, lad. Basically,
What?
you had 20 quid on user 5-1. Lost it. Come on, lad.
Right, we're gonna have to get the red flag announcement out. It's our little alarm, as you could call it.
My uncle, right?
Red flag, red flag.
Charlie, if that happens again though, don't bother restarting it. Charlie, if that happens again though, exactly.
Oh, Reese, I didn't know that they could hear you on my stream. Fuck.
Yeah, for some reason he fucking...
Custom grid. It's
Yeah. Yes. Alright. Alright. That was a good race.
Yeah, good race that.
Martin, just don't send it down the inside this time, yeah?
I won't. I don't know what it is. Like, I'm fine in quality. Oh yeah, in quality, by the way. I'm an idiot because I was staying
What's
in the
your
garage. doing the knob.
differential off throttle?
Well, it's F1 World Car. I don't think we want that, right?
No. Oh my
Just
god.
make sure they're
Why
all
does it ask me
okay.
for an invite? Can they be patient?
Randomised grid. I'm alright. B1!
Right, you better fucking hurry this up. You better
Charlie
everyone better be in
joined.
this lobby in 5 minutes.
Oh, that's bad.
Woo!
No, just invite her.
I've. Alright, I'm going to pause the stream. I'll catch you back at it when the race is underway.